Show who you are. Good riddance. Is your kid in bid the forbidden? As it was written, you overbidding. With the heathens, karma is a bitch, so how you living? Pray for my enemies, unforgiving. Cast the pearls on hog moms and chitlin'. If it's too hot, get your ass out the kitchen. Finger licking good, good looking. Stewing in the stew, I'm cooking. You psyched out, paranoid and shookin'. Shook the table, spades I'm booking. Get prepared for this ass whooping. Listen to the words being spoken. You were talking, I'm awake and woken. While I'm spitting this, got your spit, got choking. Era up, a glance in my world, eyes shut open. Parallel in my mind, I'm chosen. Reverse the time, heart frozen. Antarctica, cold as ice. Casting locks, rolling dice. Mean as nails, I'm nothing nice. They persecuted me like they rejected Christ. Okay, so here now, I'm gonna play this one more time. Wait for everybody. Show who you are. Good riddance. Is your kid in bid the forbidden? As it was written, you overbidding. With the heathens, karma is a bitch, so how you living? Pray for my enemies, unforgiving. Cast the pearls on hog moms and chitlin'. If it's too hot, get your ass out the kitchen. Finger licking good, good looking. Stewing in the stew, I'm cooking. You psyched out, paranoid and shookin'. Shook the table, spades I'm booking. Get prepared for this ass whooping. Listen to the words being spoken. You were talking, I'm awake and woken. While I'm spitting this, got your spit, got choking. Era up, a glance in my world, eyes shut open. Parallel in my mind, I'm chosen. Reverse the time, heart frozen. Antarctica, cold as ice. Casting locks, rolling dice. Mean as nails, I'm nothing nice. They persecuted me like they rejected Christ. All right, I'm here now, y'all. Waiting for y'all to climb on in. I'm here to talk about welfare and welfare and government assistance and how did it affect the Black community. I'm trying to see where my girls at, but they're not here. So I'm gonna just wing it on my own because I do want to show some things and educate people on how welfare started and also what we can do to combat welfare. Let me just do this thing here too because they want me to go live on two things. I don't know. I'm just gonna do it twice, I guess. But anyway, so again, this is welcome to shooting the shit because it's a play on words. You know, we shooting the shit and we also shooting the shit like the bullshit. But I'm not gonna be cussing too much. But I just was putting that out there. So basically, if you guys want to come in, first of all, I want to let you know that I did put the link up in the invite. I'm hearing people saying stuff to me, but I can't see it at the moment. Hold on. So I put the link if you want to chime in on your opinion or whatever. I'm gonna start the podcast with a little history on welfare. That way we get an understanding of what happened with welfare. Just give me a second. So I can, hold on. So okay, so we're gonna here we go. So first I'm gonna start off with the history of welfare and how it came about. Okay. Where is it? Oh, here we go. We're gonna start here. Just give me a
Confirmed by the evidence immediately before me, show conclusively that continued dependence upon relief induces a spiritual and moral disintegration, fundamentally destructive to the national fiber. To dole out relief in this way is to administer a narcotic, a subtle destroyer of the human spirit. We must preserve not only the bodies of the unemployed from destitution, but also their self-respect, their self-reliance, and courage, and determination.
It all started out so innocently. And if I'd been alive then, I would have been in favor of it then. But it ratcheted up very slowly. Even by the end of the 1950s, the welfare rolls were small. The amounts of money were small. Welfare really was not, at that time, an attractive way to try to live.
Roosevelt remained true to his convictions and phased out emerging public projects as the economy improved. From the 1940s to the 1960s, poverty fell dramatically in the United States.
When I learned about this math ratio, it changed my life.
So basically, what the guys were saying on here was that, and why do I have to? Okay, let me stop sharing. So basically, let me go to hold on. I have some information to share. So how welfare started. Let's start there. How welfare started. Let me share my screen again. It started throughout the Great Depression, right? So basically, it was saying that welfare started during the Great Depression in the 1930s, right? Let's go to this. I can't see it from here. Where is it? Okay, so it says, let's go to the beginning here. As its name, FARA was given primarily responsibility for managing the effort to distribute federal relief funds to individual states. The relief funds were used to sustain unemployed families during the immediate crisis. The Civilian Works Administration was actually part of the FARA. Let me go up some, y'all. I wanted to start where it said, talk about Franklin D. Roosevelt. Okay, so Franklin D. Roosevelt was the one who offered up the New Deal, right? In the crisis of during the Great Depression. He would be either the worst or greatest president in American history. Roosevelt is said to have responded, "If I fail, I should be the last one." By the time Roosevelt was elected in 1932, the traditional ideologies and institution of the United States were in a state of upheaval. Americans who had grown up promoting the ideology of the deserving and undeserving poor and the stigma of poor relief were now standing in line for relief, right? Private nonprofit organizations such as Community Chest, although valiant in their effort, were overwhelmed with requests unable to meet the needs of their communities. State and local governments, ultimately responsible for their poor throughout American history, now looked for financial assistance. What was needed was an expanded institutional partnership between the federal government and the other sectors of American society in promoting social welfare. In the past, the federal government had been active in other areas such as railroad development and war veteran pensions. However, The American belief, as earlier expressed by President Franklin Pierce to Dorothea Dix, was that the federal government should not be involved in providing poor relief. But now the size of the national crisis required a national solution. The federal government was in the best position to initiate and coordinate national efforts among public, private, and nonprofit sectors of society. As the crisis deepened, progressive leaders and average Americans increasingly demand that the federal government take greater responsibility in relieving and preventing poverty. So initially, it was supposed to be to eradicate poverty, which I don't know how that was going to happen. One of the more radical policy proposals to address the Great Depression was put forth by the Senator Huey Long from Louisiana, and a second by Dr. Francis Townsend from California. Long was okay. Give me a minute, y'all. I'm getting a call. Yes, ma'am.
No, I cannot get in. What the hell's going on?
Why you can't get in? Did you click the link?
And I put the code in. They send it to my email. I put the code in. I'm clicking continue with Facebook. And
Are you going through your? Are you going through your computer? Or are you going through Facebook?
I was doing on my phone.
Okay, go through the text message I sent you.
I did. I went through the text message you sent me.
You gotta open. I think you gotta open it up in Safari.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
Sorry, let me hear my daughter.
Okay, don't worry. I'm holding it down for right now until people start coming in. I don't even know because I'm not even checking my my feed.
Okay. I put in my email. So send me a confirmation code.
Okay, let me end it on here because I did two lives. I did two lives on here. I'm gonna stop that one because it was doing too much. Let me just go here. Let me go back because it's probably better. Because what I ended up doing, I'm sorry, you guys, give me a second. What I ended up doing is they told me that I could do live on let me see. I could do live on StreamYard and I could do live on Facebook at the same time, but I just got a error message right.
You have no upcoming broadcast.
Wait a minute.
Click create and choose recording.
No. I'm gonna send this to you again. Hold on. Let me send it to you again. What's your email?
BLB.
Wait. I got your speakerphone. Hold on. Say it again. B-O. What? Mm. Mm. All right. My glasses are so messed up. Okay. Let me send it to you. All right. Tell me if it worked there. Give me a second, you guys. Hold on. I'm getting all kind of messages. And I don't know what Facebook is doing. Let me go to. All right. So we having a little technical difficulties, but it's all good. Let me see if I can find this. When I did this way, it's just doing some weird stuff. So I'm just trying to make sure everybody see me. If you can see me, like put it in the comments. Where's the video? See. What the fuck? Where is it? Did somebody delete my video or something? What the fuck? I'm looking at it right now. Let me see. Okay. Okay, I see. Well, can you see it now? If you want to go on, just let me know. Am I on right now? Okay, cool. All right, let me get back to this thing right here. Okay, so I'm not gonna keep reading all these boring stuff to y'all right now because I don't want y'all to get bored. Let me show another video real quick while I get my girls together because they over here having issues. Yeah, we having technical difficulties. So let me show y'all this other video real quick. Sheesh. Let's see here. Let's stop sharing for a minute. Okay, go back. This right here I thought was super interesting. Everything ain't always gonna go like you want it to go, but look, I'm the type of person the show never stops, and I'm always gonna keep going no matter what. It's always practice make perfect. I haven't done like no live shows in a long time, so I'm just over here trying to get my feet wet. You know, going through these transitions and everything could be difficult at
go after getting evicted.
yeah.
Tampa.
Good evening, I'm Keith Tate.
I'm Gail Sierens. Thank you for joining us this evening. One mother and 12 young children. They have no food, no clothes, no shoes, and no place to go after getting evicted. The Tampa mom says she's asked for help, but to no avail. Did the system fail her? That's what 8 on Your Side wants to know. News Channel 8 Jeff Patterson is in our Tampa newsroom with a story that has many different turns. Jeff?
Indeed it does, Gail. Angel Adams says her children are a gift from God, but now she needs help caring for them. Adams is blaming the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office Child Protection Team and others for her problems.
In my case, they done been in my life 6 months and I'm homeless.
37-year-old Angel Adams blames the system for her problems, a system of social service agencies trying to help her. Adams has 15 children, 12 who are now living with her in this small motel room. While we were in the room, the children had no food available, no shoes, and Adams says they haven't had a change of clothes in more than 3 days. A concerned employee of the motel called us after seeing her plight. Landlords recently evicted Adams and her children from this Tampa apartment after discovering she was living there with her 12 children. The kids' clothes, books, toys, and furniture are now out on the curb, picked over by scavengers. The building's owners say they gave ample warning to Adams, warnings they say she chose to ignore.
We tried to help them, and I think several other agencies, with paying of her rent and the paying of her utilities and stuff, did more than their part.
But Adams says her life didn't start to fall apart until social service agencies got involved. Her fiancé, Gary Brown Sr., the man who fathered 10 of her 15 children, was arrested, and Adams says she was left with nothing.
I don't have any clothes. People been donating food just around here, just helping me out with food, and I don't have anything.
We called the Department of Children and Families to see what they've been doing to help. DCF says Hillsborough Kids Incorporated has been helping by paying Adams rent, even providing her furniture. Adams says it isn't enough.
Somebody needs to pay for all my children and mine and Gary, all our suffering, somebody needs to be held accountable, and they need to pay.
DCF Regional Director Nick Cox wanted to see for himself the situation that Adams now finds herself in.
I know there's some help that's been coming your way, but what I'm concerned about right now is I want to make sure, number one, that for right now, all of you and your kids don't belong in that one room.
Tonight, Angel Adams and her 12 children are in a much better place after Nick Cox, who is the regional director of the Department of Children and Families, got involved. He found a temporary home at a kid's place in Brandon for the family. DCF says they will sit down with Adams and a team of case management workers to determine the best way to move forward to help her and the children, Gail.
All right, Jeff. Hillsborough Kids Incorporated is a support agency that works for the Department of Children and Families. A spokesperson for HKI says they've been trying to work with Adams for months to help, even paying $800 a month in rent for several months, trying to help her get back on her feet. She has given birth to 15 children. She was living with 12 of those children in a small 2-bedroom motel room. She also angered a lot of you with her attitude. Today, Angel Yulie Adams was back in Hillsborough Court and again surprised everyone. News Channel's Jeff Patterson has covered this story for us from the very beginning and joins us now with his very latest development. Jeff?
Gail, Angel Yulie Adams was sent to jail last week for contempt of court when she refused to tell the judge whether she was pregnant. Today, Angel finally answered the question.
I'm just a single mom with 12 minor children.
When we first met Angel Adams, she was living in a small motel room with 12 of her 15 children, ranging in age from 11 years to 6 months. And she was angry at the system.
Somebody needs to pay for all my children.
DCF Regional Director Nick Cox stepped in and moved Angel and her children to a kid's place in Brandon as a temporary home. But Angel remained defiant. In court last week, Hillsborough County Judge Tracy Sheehan asked Angel a pointed question at a status hearing.
Are you pregnant?
Sheehan demanded to know because she was concerned Adams had been with a man in front of the children at the motel room or in a small 2-bedroom apartment she had lived in before being evicted.
Take her away, deputies.
When Adams refused to answer, Sheehan sent her to jail for contempt of court. Today, at yet another hearing, Sheehan released Adams from jail.
I called in everyone to say I have no interest in leaving her in jail because I think to do so just burdens the taxpayers of Hillsborough County even further.
Then DCF Regional Director Nick Cox updated the court on the children.
They appear to be doing very well.
And finally, Angel Adams spoke, surprising everyone.
To your question of me being pregnant, no, I am not pregnant. And no, my children have not been around any men outside of their father.
Adams went even further, apologizing to the court and to DCF.
And I do want to apologize to you and say I'm sorry to everybody in the room. I understand that these people have went out of their way to get a house for me and my children.
The children remain in state custody. DCF is working with family members to place the children in homes with family members. Today, the judge revealed her children were taken away before. Adams went for 10 months without seeing them. DCF Director Nick Cox said he hopes to work with Angel this time to return the children to her, but he says that depends on her actions. In the Tampa newsroom, I'm Jeff Patterson.
Okay, so I've seen enough right there. Mimi, you on here? Can you hear me? Okay.
I can hear you. It's kind of going in and out. I don't know what's going on with the internet.
Yeah, so basically I was having some technical difficulties. A few people came in on the live, but when I added them, it shut off because I guess when I was streaming on 2 platforms, like I was streaming with 2 different type of streaming platforms, and it was causing some type of trouble. But anyways, what do you think? Do you think that how do you think that welfare and government systems affect the Black community? Oh, should I introduce you? I'm sorry, y'all. This is Mimi. She's an LVN / hairdresser / mother. Oh my God. She got many hats. Fashion designer, decorator. I don't know what else she does. 1,000 things. But anyways, what do you think? How do you think the welfare affected the Black community?
Well, I think it affected it tremendously because it sort of pushed the Black man out of the house. And without a man in the house, the family's going down. Because you need that man in the house always. And then so many Black young men grew up without a man being in the house, without an example of a man, without even knowing the role of a man. So I think that affected the culture tremendously.
Okay, I got questions. So why do you think it put the black man out of the house? And is there a law that says that it put the black man out the house?
No, there is a law that says it put the black man out of the house, but the rules, the general rules and stipulations when you're on welfare, you can only, or on a certain type of government assistance, the man can't live with you. And if he can't live with you, once they factor in his income, if he's making any, they're not going to really give you the government assistance. And then the income he may be making is not enough to cover what the government assistance is giving you. So it's just a big problem to me.
So I've been looking into it, right? And so
Mhm.
at first I believe that welfare, I believe that truly like welfare destroyed the black communities, right?
Uh-huh. I wouldn't necessarily say destroyed. I would say affected.
Oh, I'm sorry. So what I did realize, and I'm trying to put this in the best way because I'll be having like this raw material. Once I study stuff and research stuff, it'd be hard for me to convey it sometimes. But what I
Uh-huh.
kind of find, because I asked the question, how did welfare affect the black communities but didn't affect the white communities or the
Mhm.
communities as far as the family dynamics? Like, why were black
Mhm.
people the only one that suffered from it? That was the
Mhm.
question I had to ask because I just didn't understand um, why we're targeted. So I
Right.
so I asked my dad. I said, Dad, I asked him this morning because I woke up this morning thinking about this. You know what I mean? Because I've seen men with women
Mhm.
welfare throughout my whole life. So I'm like, this can't be true because every woman I've seen on welfare in Section 8, they always had a man in the house.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm saying, and I can only speak by my experience, you know what I mean? I
Mhm. Mhm.
by what I what I'm going by what I see, right?
Right.
So
Right.
I'm like, this ain't there's somebody lying. Somebody is
Right.
okay.
And hello.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I understand because I've seen a lot of black men in the household also with women that are on welfare or Section 8 or whatever it may be. I just believe it affects the black man didn't necessarily, I don't think it was the welfare per se solely that pushed the black man out of the house, but a lot of things I can't really say it was welfare, to be honest, just like you. It was just the system as a whole. Because I have seen a lot of men in the household where a woman was on welfare.
Right. So I asked my dad this morning, Dad, what's up? Because he lived in that time. So I'm asking him because he experienced it, ain't
Hmm.
wisdom like that. When people experience a lifetime you haven't experienced, then that's priceless. So you have to go to like, I like to talk to elderly people because I wasn't living during that time. So
Right.
basically, while we're talking, I looked it up. I can't find the link anymore, but it was basically a thing where um, the disparities of black men getting jobs.
Hmm.
Black men could have lived in a home with their wives if they were married or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and that was a technicality. That was another reason why welfare kicked the fathers out the home because a lot of black men were not married or getting married during this time, right? So,
Right. Uh-huh.
what allowed them to be on welfare with their women is if they were married. Number one, that was a criteria
Right.
to be married.
Right.
Number two, the other criteria was they had to have a job, right? Now,
Right.
black men, they were working under the table. They weren't getting checks. They didn't have jobs because of the disparity of hiring and all that. Nobody wanted to hire black men, especially after that the war. I think that was the the Vietnam War. Was it the Vietnam War? No, 1930. I think that was the what's the Cold War? World War II, maybe World War II or World War One. I can't remember. So after the black men fought these wars, they thought they had rights as veterans when they came back, and they kind of find out that a lot of people hated them even more. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
so what ended up happening was they didn't. So it was a morality clause in the Welfare Act. It was a morality clause. So if you wasn't married, then you couldn't be on welfare with your the another
Significant other.
significant another clause was too, because then they start changing it, but they were changing it as the social norms for African American black people changed, right? So what
Right.
also ended up happening was, if you were not the father of any of those children, you cannot be on welfare in that household.
Right.
So that was another reason why men couldn't come. You could, so it was a morality clause. You had to be married, and you had to be the father of the children, and you had to have a working job. You had to be a taxpayer to be on
Mhm.
welfare. So I'm just trying to debunk the myths of it tore down the black family.
I don't think the myth, to me, the myth is that it pushed the black man out of the house because we don't know that. Like we said, we know a lot of people, a lot of women or families that are on welfare and the man is in the house.
Mm,
It's definitely something to hold you back, though, regardless to if the man is in the house or if he isn't in the house.
I'm
It
sorry.
is the whole criteria for welfare, Section 8, and government assistance,
Mm,
to me,
mm,
is designed to keep you at a certain level, because if you get a certain, if you make a certain amount of income, to
mm.
them you don't need it, but that income is also not enough to sustain what you do need. So it's like a trick,
Yes, it is
and
definitely
it'll keep you living at a lower level than you should be living.
okay. Okay, 1 second. I have to just introduce a couple of people that came in. Um, we have Big Willie. He's in here. Let me unmute.
Hi, Big Willie.
Oh, Big Willie, you gotta unmute your mic.
Yeah, I know. I had it muted for a reason. Hi, everybody.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Um,
Mm,
he's I can't even tell you what he do. I think he a master of all trades though. He do all kind of things, but go ahead and introduce yourself, Willie. Tell us about yourself, and then tell us, well, how do you think that government assistance affected the black community?
all right, people. Well, I am a jack of all trades. I'm an entrepreneur by passion. I have a construction business. I have a travel agency. I have a um, home cleaning business. I also, well, pretty much, if you got money for it, I can do it. I'll do everything.
Okay.
So that's my entrepreneurial stuff in a nutshell. Um,
Um,
So
y'all
how
need
did
to
well,
make
nice to meet you.
you too. But about the topic, I think how did welfare destroy it? I'm not gonna blame it on welfare.
let's say
I think,
Right.
let's be clear on the question. How did it affect the black community?
okay. Well, I think that it
Oh,
wasn't welfare. It wasn't the government assistance programs itself. I think that it was a multitude of factors that was happening around the same time. Many people point to the '70s as being this colossal breakdown during the crack epidemic. Um, where families were dissolving, where there were a lot of single parent families in our black communities because either the guys were in the streets, high, or just gone. Then we have the natural people just don't get along. Relationships just didn't work. So we had those people who, families separated because of that. Did welfare play a part in it? Yeah, I think so because some people didn't want to lose their benefits, and so they was very, very mindful of how much money they made. But to be honest with you, those people that we are thinking about, they were sneaking people in anyway. You know what I'm saying? There were quite a few people who was on welfare. You know, as long as you don't tell, you know what I'm saying, the county on them, hell, you do what you gonna do. So I think that, you know, the families have been breaking down anyway. Um, Welfare, non-welfare related, people just don't get along like they used to. And, you know, the welfare just gave some people, because not most people qualify for it anyway, you know, it just gave them a easier out. They had money coming in, so they didn't have to be as reliant on a guy as they would have if they didn't have that money coming in.
Okay, so all right, and let me introduce Henry Williams, CEO. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Henry.
Hello, can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm the CEO of Newsroom, Henry Williams. Very interesting topic. I'm going against the playing field. I feel like welfare made black women lazy mentally, as to the point of like raising dogs. If you got a Spencer poodle, you don't want your Spencer poodle running around the whole neighborhood just having sex with any dog, because you want a Spencer litter. So you protect it. By protecting it, you make sure you got fence or house to protect your dog. If you got a regular mutt, you really don't care the dog break loose off the fence. You don't really care have any type of litter. So welfare in that instant gave people leisure time. It it broke down family because people don't know what family is. When people look up the word family, it means servant, slave. That means we work for each other. So when you take and put it into the hand of the government to give money to individuals, female individuals, there come regulation. And I'm gonna be honest with my life. I won't sugarcoat my life. I got a sister-in-law, you feel, she get a mental check. And she wind up getting a little job, and the job, they don't carry her bone. She need the money for emergency for a little bit, and she lose the job in the process. They look at that like, oh, you got a job making more money. We ready to cut off your check. We don't care if you mental. We gonna cut off that check. So even for a woman with 8 kids, if a man come in the house and making a certain amount of money, they would cut that money off. And majority of the time, we got to be honest. Them 8 kids or 5 kids is not the man's children. She had multiple kids because she had leisure time to have sex with men that she did not know. And then when she ready to settle down with a man who working, like I witnessed a homeboy took this female out of the project into the house, and she started complaining like, "Oh, I got less money to spend. When I was living in the project, all I was paying is $10 and stuff, $50. Now I gotta spend on rent and bills and less money on nails, less money on material things." It took the value of what money was used for. It's a mentality. And yes, welfare, yes, we gotta be honest about
Okay,
the situation.
I got questions, but I want to play. Well, I got questions. I want to play a video real quick and get your reaction to the video. Okay, let me
Okay.
video real quick. Hold on. Let me find it again because I done lost it. I mean, I'm all over the place here. All right.
Okay.
Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So I want to get y'all reaction to this. Give me a second. How you get the volume on this thing? Oh my God.
None of you are married. Raise your hand if you would like to be married to your baby's father. One. The rest of you who don't plan to get married, why don't you plan to get married? I'd like to know that.
You already have your child to think about, and then a whole family to care for. You know, it's a lot of responsibility, and then you don't want the commitments.
I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent.
But don't you think you might need help in raising that baby from a man?
Not really. I didn't have a father. My father wasn't in the home, so you know it really male figures are not substantially important in the family.
Raise your hand if you're married. None of you are married. Raise your hand.
All right. So what y'all think about that?
Okay, so let me tell you what I think about it. I think it's a mentality. Just like now today, if you look, it's just how you have, you know, how you hear like it might have been your mother or your grandmother or somebody has told you before, like, you don't need a man, you don't need that man for nothing, you can do anything on your own. You know, it's like a generational curse. It's a mentality. They really believe that they don't need the man. They don't know that they need the man. That's the problem. And when the man got out of the household, I'm not gonna say it because of welfare, but as far as a lot of many issues as a whole, the man was taken out of the house. The woman doesn't know the role of a man. The younger generations of under, besides who were back in the 60s or whatever, they never seen men. So people don't know. They don't know, and that's what they really feel. They don't need a man because that's what they've heard from their grandmothers or their mother or whoever. But in reality, you most definitely need a man. And then when the man got taken out of the home, just like she said, that's a lot of responsibility. You become afraid to even be in that type of relationship as a woman, just thinking about how much now it's like you taking care of another kid because the guy or the male doesn't know or has never had the example of a man. So now you his mama just as well as the kids.
Right. So I agree with you 100%. And that goes back to the conversation I was having with my father earlier. He said after a while that some of the men in the neighborhood would go back to the women, like it became a pimping game. You
Right.
know, on the 1st and the 15th, the men would go back, and what you call those hobosexuals, they would go back to get what they can from the woman when she got her welfare check. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so those women, it's a mentality that grew on them or was taught to them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They probably learned after so long, like, okay, this man, all he do is come eating up all my baby snacks. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? She getting all these food stamps, getting these snacks from the kids. And by the way, if anybody watching it, if y'all got some food stamps for sale, inbox me. Anyway, man, food is high. Food is high as mud. Anyway, so yeah, so I get that. So Big Willie, what you think about the video?
You muted.
I'm asking you what you thought about the video. Henry.
Oh, me? I thought you were talking about Willie.
Willie has
Okay.
closed up, so I went to you. Go ahead. I'll go back.
Okay. Let me put myself in the main screen for right now.
Do you want me to replay the video?
No, 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 no. I just wanted
Well,
to
better
switch.
stop taking over my show. I could have highlighted you.
No, no, no. I'm just helping. Just helping. So the main deal is this: like each and everybody have their individual problems in life, but with the welfare case to it, it gave a it gave leisure time to people who don't know money management. It's like you giving $millions to a bum, an alcoholic. They will be they gonna die over overdose or alcohol poisoning. So the welfare system gave a stumbling block for people who didn't understand family. As you look at these females, they like, we don't have a father. That means they don't know what a master is. They don't know who. If the master is a teacher also, because a father is a master. So giving people money to live and on a little bit of income, it put another impact. Not on the woman. Let's not look at the woman who is impacted. Let's look at the children, because it's going to be generational curse. Mama don't have enough money to put shoes on my feet. I want to play basketball. I want to play football. I want to do things as the other kids. But mama got several kids by several men. And she's not getting child support. Majority of the women not getting child support from the baby daddy, because most of the time they don't know who's the baby father. But welfare is like, hey, okay, as long as you don't work or you make a certain amount of income, we'll deal with you. And the woman would pick her housing situation over her kid. Oh, you messing up my housing situation, you gotta go. That's the type of mentality. Especially like a kid seeing their mama suffer, it make them like we see in movies that they actually showing us in our face that the child like, I'm selling this drug. Let me help my sister out. Mama like, no, that's dirty money. That's dirty money. Get out my house. Because she could lose everything for it. And then actually being aware that it's not what he's selling, it's how he's selling things. That your son got marketing skills, but he don't have no man, no leader, nothing in the community to actually structure him to make it.
Okay, Big Willie, what do you think about the video?
Man, I'm gonna chime in with Mr. Henry. He had a bunch of good points. I think that the video just kind of highlights people's mentality, and I think that that is the core thing wrong with um, not just the welfare system, but government systems, and everything. People really have a negative viewpoint and really don't appreciate black men. Um, Even today, we see the same things today. So many people regard a guy in the household as just a financial ATM. Oh, he gonna pay all my bills and I get to chill. He gonna take care of me so I can go do what I want to do. And if the guy financially can't take care of you, then it's like he's a bum. He doesn't bring nothing to the table. So many women, if he's not making six figures,
I gotta pause you. I gotta pause you. What? Who do you know do that?
do what? If he can't pay, then they're not dealing with him. Is
No.
that what you're
So,
telling me?
well, I don't. Okay. What
Maybe
women
I
feel like that a man, like, of course we're gonna get some relief, right? We want to be relieved. You know what I'm saying? But if a woman is taking care of her own household and doing all her own things already when you meet her, why do you think that she wants you to come in and just do everything?
Um, I can only speak from conversations I've had with various women. And I'm not even saying that that is the majority of people. So many people think that having a man there, having a man who is actually about you means that he's going to take care, he's going to pay the bills. I'm not going to go 50-50 with a guy because if I got to go 50-50, then, if he's not paying all the bills, then I'm not going to do X, Y, Z.
Okay, can I tell you why?
I was going to say something too. Look, you see me get ready to talk like, wait a minute. Because, I'm sorry,
Can I
wait.
tell you why we get
Go ahead,
into it?
yeah, I'm a mute. I'm going to be talking.
Okay, let me explain something to you why, right? I don't know who the women are that you talk to. I can't speak for them. But when you're dealing with a real woman and a real woman know her role as a woman is always going to do more for you than you will ever do for her. So when she says she don't want to go 50-50 financially, it's because if I have to go to work and go 50-50, I have to go to work, you go to work. We split the bills 50-50. But I have to take care of this whole house, including you. That's not 50-50. So that's not fair. If I have to cook, clean, make sure the kids are okay, make sure that you are okay, make sure that you don't worry about nothing but going to work, that's not 50-50, and that's not fair. And that's why women say that.
I agree with you. I am somebody who cooks, cleans, does laundry, everything. So I definitely understand the role. Um,
My turn
yeah,
free.
I don't have that issue. I'm really speaking about myself.
I want to chime in on the 50-50 thing. See,
Mhm.
I don't agree with 50-50 nothing from either side. I feel like everybody should be putting in 100%, period. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I feel like that, because it's never going to be 50-50. It's never going to be 50-50. And that we go back to a mentality again. You think that we going to split bills 50-50? No. No, 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 no. Because, like she said, we still got to raise the kids. We still got to pay the bills. You want me to have an income, and then you got an income or whatever. And just like we take care of the house and the home, I'm expect you to be working on my car, fixing my car. Not every man know how to fix no car. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna
Exactly.
expect you to take out the trash. I'm gonna expect you to change my door locks, whatever I need, fix a cabinet. You know what I'm saying? Fix a roof, mow the lawn, all that stuff. So it's 100. I'm gonna say 110, 150%. Whatever you got, you got to give it to me.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, y'all some beautiful, educated, smart women on the panel. But we ain't talking about y'all. We talking about these welfare cases. And we gotta be honest. We gotta be honest. It started off not 50-50, you feel? Because one, they on welfare. That mean the guy, even if he have his own place, would have to be moving in with her. Because it's not about the she said, "Oh, I'm about to pack up my stuff with my children and move in with this man in his house and move the welfare office into this man's house." No, because that house is leased under him. It's leased under him. So the house got to be
Right.
leased under her to get this welfare assistance. So he would have to get rid of his house and move in with her. And that means if she on welfare already, she got kids. And he can't tell them kids nothing.
That is so false. That's not a fact. And I am going to teach you guys, like,
Wait, let me tell you
married.
this
Wait a
real
minute,
quick.
real
Oh,
hold
I'm
on,
sorry. I'm sorry.
hold on. I hear what you said, Henry, and that's a fallacy, right? And that's what everybody thinks. So after we finish the discussion, I'm going to bring some information to people on, because that's another thing. How do we get past this system? Me being I worked with social work a long time, you know what I'm saying, since 2006 or whatever to current. So I'm always dealing with the community. I'm always dealing with jobs of the city and the county. So I know a little bit thing about a little something, right? Now, back in the day, I said 1930, from the 1920s to maybe the 1960s, it was cool. From the 1960s to the 1980s, they start changing it, and it did have a bad effect on the Black community. I'm not gonna lie. However, in this day and age, there are ways around that. And when it comes to welfare, he don't have to be on the lease. You know what I'm saying? He could own the property and welfare would pay her, you know, she could move in his property and welfare would pay the lease, would pay his house note. You get what I'm saying? It's ways around it. If we thought smarter, we could come up. It's like Miyaka started, it's a mentality thing. And even if he don't own a home, like right now, today's age, and I'm talking about Section 8 or people that's on Section 8, they have a program called shared living to where, say for instance, you get a Section 8 voucher for you and your children. Say you have like 3 children and it's you and you get a 3-bedroom voucher, 2-bedroom voucher. Okay. You guys could go in on a place, right? And get a place like a 4-bedroom. Say she got a 3-bedroom voucher, you can get a 4-bedroom home. He will pay for that 1 bedroom, and she would pay, and the Section 8 would pay for the other 3 bedrooms, as long as he does not have a felony that has a violent crime behind it. Now he can have a felony, but it cannot have a violent crime behind it. Another thing is, actually, they're not even, let me take that back, because they're not even gonna check for him. It's up to the manager. I'm gonna let you go. It's up for the manager to accept the arrangement, first of all. Okay. Secondly, a man could live in a home right now with a woman on Section 8, and she could add him as long as he is the father of the children, and he could have a felony. Right now, I'm talking right now, he can do it. So back in the 70s, in the, I want to say the 80s and the 70s, when they had, because my homegirl, I had talked to her about it earlier, and I'm gonna let you go, Henry, and then I'm gonna let you go, Big Willie. Um, because of the disparities, like the war on drugs and the mass incarceration and all that stuff, that was a big factor of what stopped the men from being in the home. It wasn't welfare and government assistance itself. It was the
Right.
flex of the the drugs and the harsh punishment, like the marijuana. They was going to jail for years for marijuana, getting felonies for selling marijuana, and they was going to jail for a gram of crack. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, Henry. I'm done.
Yes,
Henry or me? Oh,
yes. I just took myself out. So this the main key. I like back in the day. I could say I listen to people and I'm giving other people things that they told me. I can't do that no more. I can do it by experience of dating and marrying a woman on welfare. The type of behavior, the type of understanding, wasn't able to save money. The fast as money come, it had to go. If you have certain amount of money, because now it's not a check that they send you in the mail and you cash it and they don't have no where about where the money go. Now it's on cards in the bank account where they want to see bank statements. Let me save up $10,000 and want to put it in a bank account with my wife or with my
Right.
girlfriend. They
Exactly.
cutting everything out. She
Mhm.
don't want that. We not talking about newlyweds or newly couple who got kids going on welfare. We talking about women who already on welfare dealing with people. They got that mentality. They know how to keep their stuff. You feel? Yes, some of them date guys. No, majority, a lot of female date guys with fellas because
Mm.
project, the living is like need more money.
You
A fancy guy don't want to be like, oh man, I'm not about to deal with no woman with kids. But a guy who coming out of jail, like, I got to get what I got, get
you
what I
hit
can
the
get.
nail on the head.
Right. Now that's what.
And let me tell you, because them projects was filled with men, and them projects is a government assistance. You get what I'm saying? You hit the nail on the head. That goes back to my dad talking about the pimp when they started trying to pimp for the checks for the first and the 15th. Them projects, them projects. Right now, if you go to the projects in our neighborhood right now, the Jordan Downs look like condos right now. Them projects could have been kept up by our own people, but you know what they did? They brought them drugs in, and that was a big mistake. But Henry, I agree with you 100%, and we're gonna have to talk 1-on-one about that bank stuff. We'll talk about that later. Okay, Big Willie, what you got to say?
So yeah, like I was saying, I'm gonna try to not to say nothing controversial, so you won't have to chime in. I think one of the things in which we keep on talking about, it's not necessarily the program; it's the mindset of the people who are using it. I was on the county at one point in time, but when I was on the county, I used that money to get up and get ahead. I used the assistance, money I save for the housing. I used the assistance to get into a program. Now I got my money up. I didn't look at the
You
assistance
gotta
as
be
being
still. You gotta be still because you breaking up, bro. You gotta be still. That's motherfucker always moving.
sorry.
Big
I'm
Willie.
I'm working. So, yeah, I didn't use the money as a come up. Or I got made now. I do that as okay. This is what me go do what I need to do. Me go do what I need to do. Pay these, but put myself in a better situation so I won't need this again. I think it's my reception. Am I going in and out?
You going in and out, bro, but hopefully the stream yard, once we done, it'll pick you up later.
Mm-mm.
It'll pick you up later. But you're right. It's a stepping stone. It's a supplemental income. It's not. Let me get myself back. It's not you. It's not supposed to be used for a permanent thing. We need to be into buying property, buying land. We need to be trying to do that right now. Like right now, we need to be trying to buy property, buy land, have gardens and stuff like that. Because the way they doing things right now, it's finna be like way different. You know what I'm saying? Things are changing. When Trump was in office, he was getting ready to get rid of all the food there and bring back. Remember that government cheese, and when you had to go get the government cheese and the powder milk and stuff. Who ain't had no powder milk? Tell me you ain't never had no powder milk on this line. Tell me.
Mhm.
So
No, no
and that
thanks.
that big ass long log of cheese or
Mhm.
whatever. tell me, tell me y'all ain't never had that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Trump was trying to bring it back.
Trump was trying to bring that processed food that caused the black community heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, all that. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to bring that stuff back. That they've been doing experiments. They have cut off welfare. They've even they've even done an experiment with some people. It was a lot of people that didn't get their benefit, right? They trying to say that it was a scam and somebody stole. No, they did that. It was an inside job. Trust me, I know it was. And so, and this is recent. This was last year, I think, like in November. It was a big thing. A lot of people didn't get their benefits. They woke up that one morning and they went without benefits for a whole month. A whole month. But then they got their benefits back later. But what I'm saying is to say, welfare should be a temporary solution. It should always be a game plan at the end of the day. It should be like, okay, I can use this money to pay off this debt, pay off that debt, get my credit up, do this, do that, because it's supplemental. And that was my next question. Do y'all think that welfare could actually pay for your cost of living? The amount of money they give you on welfare, do you actually think that it'll pay for your cost of living?
I got something to say.
Hmm.
You cannot use a temporary program for a long term problem. You're a young mother, don't know what to do. You got a kid. Your parents don't want you back in the house. Most likely, you don't know who the baby daddy is.
Now you're taking it too far, Harry.
Wait. I'm talking about majority. We got to be honest here. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying majority.
You don't know who the baby daddy is.
A lot of women don't know the baby daddy. Even if they did put a name on the certificate, wind up not the baby daddy. So I'm into the controversy. I'm like this.
You trying to start stuff. I'm not even going to comment on that. Go on.
Let me just say this part right here. So once a child is born, that's a long term problem or a long term issue. It's a child that got to be raised to 17, 18. Might be a little longer if this child is slow or have mental defects. So with that with that said, we got social programs for that. And them social programs is built to the point that once you get that money, you can't invest. You can't invest. Like if someone want SSI, welfare, SSA, if you take some of that money and you put it in Bitcoin, you take some of that money and put it in Goodyear tires, you could do that from cash out. Take money and put it in stocks. They will cut you off. You can't take that money and invest. That's it's not a stepping stone. You not stepping up, you stepping
Exactly.
in a hole.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I feel like it's designed to be. Like, have you ever paid attention that to the black neighborhoods, the groceries, the food, the anything in the store is more expensive than it is in in the more privileged neighborhoods where they have cars and they can go around. They know that these people in this area, the only way they're gonna get here is to walk. So they don't have the resources to get outside of here. So they raise the prices up. And I know that from living in the hood versus living not in the hood. And also the same thing when he was saying, Section 8, any of that, anything that you own, you thinking it's a stepping stone, but welfare, Section 8, all of that is not a stepping stone. It's just, unless it can be a stepping stone. If you take your time, go to school and get off of it and boss up and get off of it, which many people don't. But the very moment you boss up, they're putting you off. So you're gonna have to boss all the way up, not just when you think the trick to it is you like, oh well, I can do this and get off. But if you get off and you lose all the assistance, you really don't make enough money to to live the lifestyle that you live in with the assistance. So you would rather keep the assistance, but then you keep the assistance and you will never get above the assistance. And that's the trap.
I want to chime in. I I think can y'all you got an echo? No,
No.
sorry. Okay, good. I think that we are talking about a mentality of a very specific type of person. We talking about the ghetto mamas, the project babies, and things like that. But there are hoods in every race. You know what I'm saying? The white people they had hoods. You know they was ghetto. You know they was on a county too. You know last time
Right.
I checked the statistics, it was more whites on the county than it was blacks. Um, so that in itself wasn't the issue. You know what I'm saying? Impoverished neighborhoods have people of all races in it. And
Right.
so I think the difference is that in our black communities, you know, generationally, we have lost respect for the value of a man. Um, because we've been talking about the money, yeah, but it's so much more that a man provides to a household than just financials. It is so much more that he provides to kids other than what he can buy or what he can fix and things like that. But that got lost through time, you know what I mean? And generationally, we have single mothers who were teaching their kids that these dudes ain't shit. And or these dudes, you know, you had a bad experience with a guy, and so all of a sudden it's like, oh no, these dudes ain't worth it. You could do bad all by yourself. When in reality, it wasn't the fact that the dude wasn't worth nothing. It was like, man, you got an attitude problem. He got tired of dealing with your BS, and so he split. Um, you by yourself because of who you are, the type of person you are. You know, same thing we saying about these welfare recipients. Some people look at it and it's permanent. They gonna teach their kids how to get on it. When you 18, I'm gonna take you down there. You're gonna get Section 8. You're gonna be set. Woo woo. And that's as big as their dreams are. And so these people look and say, man, what else can I do? It's a whole wide world out there, man. People with money, and you know what I'm saying. If you come from a place where you have parents who went to college who made good money, they would be embarrassed if you got on the county because they teach their kids different. They instill different values in their kids. No, we don't need government assistance. It's there if you need it, if you ever hit hard times, but you teach your kids to do better, to go and get a career that's going to pay enough money. But, you know, when you're dealing with hood mentality folks, you know, who only used to making minimum wage if they working or getting disability or the next come up, then hell, you know what I'm saying? Getting county assistance is good for them. And you can't give me that stuff right now. Y'all don't pay enough. Like, what I'm gonna do with that? You know what I'm saying? It's cool if I could get it on the side extra, but hell, I can't pay my bills with that stuff. So it's a mentality of a certain select people that we are talking about. We see a lot of it because we from the inner city and things like that. So we saw it. We saw the project kids, but that's not everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I'm sad that those people went through that. But generationally, we just gotta do a better job of educating each other, pushing each other up.
Okay. So did I ask? Did you guys answer the one question? Why do Miyako? Miyako? I'll be ready to ask this question, and then
She might have
she keep
said she'll be
dropping out. I don't know what's going on with her. Her her internet. So I'm gonna do another video. Hold on, let me see. Uh, Here, I'm gonna share another video so we can go forward. Okay, start from the beginning here.
To misinterpret the data of sociologist Daniel Patrick Moynihan, whose 1965 report on Black American poverty has been twisted to spread misinformation that single mothers had permanently destroyed the Black nuclear family by kicking Black fathers out of the home so that they could stay at home and collect welfare. Besides the fact that this notion already seems like a reach when even in the 1960s, most Black women were not on welfare and more than half of all welfare recipients were white women and children, the white nuclear family wasn't disrupted nonetheless, but there was referring to. The man in the house rule denied welfare benefits to any woman who had an able-bodied man in the home. What is rarely ever mentioned is that welfare, then called the AFDC program, required that the women keep a job as well. What is rarely ever mentioned is that the man in the house rule was only implemented in 12 of the 50 states and lasted only 5 to 8 years depending on the state. And what is rarely ever mentioned is that the man of the house rule, nicknamed the stepfather clause, was created to address the increase of men living in the apartments who were not the fathers of the children in residence. It prevented poor women from having domestic relations with men who weren't their baby daddies, a morality clause, if you will. But the fathers of their children were already gone. In order to receive benefits, a woman had to be widowed, divorced, deserted, or never married at all, something that applied to many black women. Desertion, or what Moynihan would call the poor man's divorce, was most common with black men. Barely any black women filed for divorce back then, but the poor man's divorce was a social phenomenon. Individuals. The Black Manosphere loves to misinterpret the data of sociologist Daniel.
Did y'all catch that? Oh, did y'all catch that?
Girl, barely.
Barely? Okay, let me do it one more time.
Barely, because the context was it just kept messing up.
All right, let me do it one more time.
Moynihan, individuals. The Black Manosphere loves to misinterpret the data of sociologist Daniel Patrick Moynihan, whose 19 American poverty has been twisted to spread misinformation that single mothers had permanently destroyed the Black nuclear family by kicking Black fathers out of the home so that they could stay at home and collect welfare. Besides the fact that this notion already seems like a reach when even in the 1960s, most Black women were not on welfare and more than half of all welfare recipients were white women and children, yet the white nuclear family wasn't disrupted. Nonetheless, what they're referring to, the man in the house rule, denied welfare benefits to any woman who had an able-bodied man in the home. What is rarely ever mentioned is that welfare, then called the AFDC program, required that the women keep a job as well. What is rarely ever mentioned is that the man in the house rule was only implemented in 12 of the 50 states and lasted only 5 to 8 years depending on the state. And what is rarely ever mentioned is that the man of the house rule, nicknamed the stepfather clause, was created to address the increase of men living in the apartments who were not the fathers of the children in residence. It prevented poor women from having domestic relations with men who weren't their baby daddies, a morality clause, if you will. But the fathers of their children were already gone. In order to receive benefits, a woman had to be widowed, divorced, deserted, or never married at all, something that applied to many Black women. Desertion, or what Moynihan would call the poor man's divorce, was most common with Black men. Barely any Black women filed for divorce back then, but the poor man's divorce was a social phenomenon. Individuals. The Black Manosphere loves to misinterpret the data of sociologist Daniel Patrick Moynihan, whose 1965 report.
Was she talking too fast or what?
Nah, I caught it. It made sense to me.
But I'm ready to dig into this.
All right,
I'm ready. What's your question?
what y'all think about what she said?
Let me go in first because I'm about to start moving again.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I think that it kind of hit the nail of what we've been saying a lot on the head. Um, the issue is that not necessarily that it's no men in the house. It was that you're not keeping these baby daddies around. You're having kids by people, and then when that relationship don't work, you're on to move on to the next guy. And the family structure itself, it wasn't surviving. Um, and so welfare kind of brought in some money for it. Hold on.
My bad. This stupid echo was killing me.
No echo on my end.
Welfare helped out financially. It helped. It gave them a cushion to work from. But at the core of the problem of the issue is that we had these females who were making babies who had all this extra baggage to
Something happened. Okay. What you saying? Big Willie, you muted. What you saying?
Yeah, he muted.
Unmute your mic, Big Willie.
Okay, I'm back. Get you back around. But I was gonna say at the core of the problem is that who are not capable of being in healthy relationships. Um, Fix the problem because then you have to get more assistance. The core of the problem is they can't sustain a relationship. They can't build to get married because they have these attitude issues, poor mentality, bad goal setting, accountability, hard to deal with, that type of stuff. And so, it kind of gave people a place to hide, a place to be, instead of working on themselves. You see the same problem again.
This is some weirdo shit that's going on my end. I don't know why this happens to me all the time. Okay, Miyaka, is Miyaka still there? Hello, Henry.
You thinking of me too?
Huh? I was talking to you. I said, what did you think about the video? Okay, Henry.
Yeah, I say something.
Mm.
So yes, white people would have the most female on welfare because their population is bigger. If you got 10 white people and you got 5 black people and 2 of the black people in the 5 is on welfare and 3 of the 10 is for the white people. You feel? Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh, they got 3 people. We only got 2, but y'all a small number, a small percentage. Yeah, it's gonna have more white people because you gotta understand domestic violence. That's a lot of things that lead to that in the white people neighborhood. Yeah, they be eating women up. They be irritated. They be fighting. We don't see it a lot, but it's a lot of white people in there for that. And we have cases of people who in the military benefits going for that. But in the black neighborhood, we dealing with poor people who don't have normal marriage. It's 3 type of marriage people gotta understand. There's the marriage where people marry because of class. Beyonce and Jay Z. That's a class marriage for status. And then you have marriage where people would marry their daughter off or marry their son off, arranged marriage. That's part of the same marriage, the first marriage. The second marriage is when you go marry a slave, or you could say present day passport bro, where they could go ahead and get a woman who would be more subservient. And then you got the last one where domesticated animals do. You feel where is a habitat where oh, I'm your baby daddy. I'm gonna stay with you. The dude hiding in the closet. You feel they not married legally. They just living together, and it became known that men can't marry. Can't because if he like come inside the household and say, I'll pay the bills. I need you to save this money up. It don't register in a lot of people that because it's to the point that it's always a fear the government put in people. It's a fear. It's a fear of losing the house and knowing that this might not be the baby daddy of none of the child, and he might just love her. And like, hey, I need you to make this money, or, or I give you this certain pathway. It become hard to understand because people going from being children, even if they 21, they are still children. Going from being children to having children, they don't know. And the government is giving them a security, and especially if they've been on it for years, a security that is a fear of change. That's what welfare gave women, a fear.
Right. And I feel, and I agree with you on that 100%. I just feel this bottom line is the mentality. Created a mentality in a lot of people, that was it. This is how we gonna live. This is how we been living. This is all we know. This is how our parents lived or our grandparents or however. And that's just a mentality in certain people. A lot of people aren't on welfare, because of a certain mentality. Just like me, I wouldn't, I mean, it's just not enough. It's not enough. They ask you too many questions just to give you this certain amount of money, and I'm used to working. I come from a working family. Everyone around me works. So it's different for me to have a certain amount of money. So, but I just believe the bottom line is the mentality. And when that mentality is created, it's passed on from generation to generation to generation until it's broken.
Yes, yes, it's generation. You were saying something? Talk over. But I literally seen like a mother. She walk around with her daughter. The daughter was like 16 at the time, young at the time. I seen how young men would look at this this girl, and and it's like the mama would make sure she watch her daughter, and and then the next thing I seen was the daughter having a child of her own, getting ready to get her project place. So it's like I was raised in the project. I'm about to be in the project. My kids about to be the project. And they're gonna rep them project. Even if they move out them project, they're gonna rep them project. So they're gonna be hanging around there and pick the same type of behavior that they used to. And it's a shame, but it's occurring. And it's like when you do when you do deal with female about money, they understand that 50-50 don't have nothing to do with money. Like for a woman who know like she like, yeah, 50-50. 50-50 with the decision making. Hey, I know my role. I'm gonna be in my house. I'm gonna be in my feminine behavior. He gonna be in his masculine behavior. That's that 50-50. That masculine and feminine come together and create a unit. Not masculine, feminine, but masculine and feminine. That's the real 50-50 that people don't want to discuss. It's not about money. 50-50 was never
Right.
about money because one thing,
Right.
man never had 100% of the household because one thing, a master always got to serve his servant so his servants could serve him.
Fact.
A king always served his people by going to war, protecting his people so his people could protect him.
Right.
So the 50-50 is who want to have the power to run their mouth the most. And welfare is like, hey, this is my house. These are my kids.
Right.
These are my funds coming in to keep this house. Any extra things that come in, it belong to me because you under my roof. Even if you give it on the free of your heart. Like, hey, I came from this far direction. I don't have no job at the time, but I got food stamp card. I can help the household. You feel I'm putting something in the house. And then when I start making money, I want to help the house and also save. Let's come up with a plan. Oh no! So most of the time, the woman don't want the man to really know what she paying, where money going, because she want extra money that she don't have. She want to do extra things that she don't have. I want my nails done. I want to get this. I want to get that. I want to get this. And the man is that extra funds without no say because this not his house. He living under her roof, so she don't understand leadership and especially financial independence
Okay.
because she went from a kid having kids.
Okay, Mia, do
I
you
don't know about.
I'm sorry. You can cut
Go
me
ahead.
off when to ask this question because I was trying to ask the question a while ago. Um, do you honestly think that the amount of money that they get on welfare could sustain the whole household? That question for
It
me.
can
No.
be back in the day.
It never
I
did.
know, I know plenty of families who survived off of welfare. I don't know how they did it, but hell, they raised their kids off of welfare. And their kids got on in and raised their kids off.
Hold on, Willie. A lot of women. That's why a lot of women were getting with the hustlers in the community, right? Because we knew. Well, I'm saying we, but I'm not a part of that because I don't like drug. I don't mess with drug dealers and hustlers or anything. Maybe when I was young, but not now. But I'm saying we knew that it would be a subsidy. Also, let's be clear because I remember Henry said it made us lazy. Okay, 90%. I want to say 90 to 80% of women that's on welfare or women that are housewives are entrepreneurs. They use that money as a supplement. They hustle. They not just sitting there collecting no check. And the state of California is the highest paying welfare state, right? And to the point where they give welfare to men, right? They're the highest paid. Why so many people are flooding California, especially the Latinos, because they're the highest state. But the majority of the states, they only give $200, and it's always been $200, depending on the inflation rates. It probably been less than that back in the 1930s, but it's always been $200. $200 is not enough to sustain a whole family. It's not. So,
No.
so for you to say that it made black women lazy, or black people lazy, or women lazy, that is a fallacy. Ain't no way a woman can feed 3 to 4 children on welfare alone. Ain't no way a woman could have, because some people have welfare and don't have Section 8. And some people have
Right.
Section 8 and don't have welfare, and some people have both. And even if they have both, it's still not enough to cover basic utility bill. They don't pay you. Some There are some programs that pay utility bill, but they're not just for single mothers. That's for the public. That's public, like heat and all that stuff. They do help with utility bill. And the legal aid, they help with certain subsidies too. So let's be clear. Women in general are entrepreneurs by nature.
Can I can I say something?
Can I say something? Yes.
Okay. Put myself together. Majority of the women I seen, majority of the women I seen, they think they entrepreneurs. They are harder. They pick projects. They buy from the Chinese company. All these incense, same thing. Another woman selling. Everybody in the community selling the same thing.
Wait a minute. You said they hoarders or barters?
Hoarders. That mean they hoarder stuff in their house. Projects after project. Ooh, I got a T-shirt business. Oh, I got an ashtray business. Oh, I got these trinkets I could create. Oh, I got this roll around, put nails on people's stuff.
Now, knock it off because, okay, that's a different story. A hoarder is a hoarder.
What I'm saying.
Those two things are not related because there are people that's not just having t-shirt business. There's a lot of people that sell plates. They have a restaurant business. There are people that's like a seamstress. They sew clothes. There are women that make preservatives. Make jam and jelly. Women that doing hair out their kitchen. Hoarding. No, there's different type of businesses. You have businesses that
You went mute.
cleaning business. They go clean up other people's houses. But see, all these businesses and they wasn't like they were on their businesses, but they was never reported, so they getting paid under the table, cash money. A hoarder is a hoarder. I've seen hoarders that got money that work that don't work, but housewives. A lot of housewives with husbands that work. Those are hoarders.
Can I ask one question?
What?
Okay. Of anybody y'all know on welfare, female on welfare, did she ever take her welfare money? Anybody y'all know, a female that took her welfare money and gave it to a man to buy a truck to start a business?
To buy a truck? I just
Yeah.
how you gonna buy a truck with $200 a month?
I know. She don't have no money to buy no truck to pay on welfare.
No, what I'm saying is,
Listen, you could take $200, right? You could take $200. You could go get what you call them things, like a cricket. Is that
Right,
what
circuit.
exactly.
you go get a cricket and some vinyl and print some t-shirts. With
Right.
$200, you could go to or and the food stamps that you get, because I was on welfare before, right? And you know what I did? But I was working. Every time I was on welfare, I was still working. But I was a single mother with 3 children, right? And so they gave me food stamps. They didn't really give me the cash aid, but they gave me the food stamps, right? You know what I did? I I took my kids to the motherfucking Smart Final. They got that big bulk of candy. They start selling candy at school, and that was they. I didn't even take the money from them. That I told them the only thing they had to do is whatever money they needed to reinvest in the candy, they need to save it, and the rest they keep it for themselves. So they reinvested the money for the candy. They was making like these candy bombs and whatnot. So like basically, I taught my children how you can make something out of nothing. You
Hey,
know,
that's good though. That's
so
good. But at the
Right.
same time, because not everybody like you. And I think, you know what I'm saying, I've been listening to your responses. I know a bunch of people that was on the county. Not so much so now that I'm older, but when I was younger, you know, we was all struggling. I mean, a lot of people were struggling when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? People around me on the county, a lot of them chicks wasn't doing nothing. They was the neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? Don't get it good. You feel me? Because they had nothing but time on their hands. They didn't have no job. They was always at home, down the kids, whatever. You
okay,
know,
so if she's still, let me tell you something. If there's she was probably out there tricking, hoeing, whatever. I don't know what she was doing, but you don't really know what a person got going on. You think they not doing nothing. You on the outside looking in because you see them at home. You feel what I'm saying? So if she still got her lights on, her gas on, and all that stuff, she cell phones, she got a car, she rolling, whatever the case may be. You don't know what she is doing. Do you know a woman could be at home all day and just be, and I hate to say this because I used to do this, but when I was younger, but one could be at home on the phone having phone sex and getting money grams all day.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. That's what a lot of the homegirls I knew was doing. They had number time on their hands, so shoot. They would
Go
entertain they and get their money. You know what I'm saying?
go watch that movie, Girl Set. I mean, Girl Six. Girl Six. You could
Yeah. All
when
day.
when Yahoo Messenger and AOL, because this is when I left my when I left my husband. That was the first time I was on the county. I mean, like for real on the county. But when I left my husband, I left Texas and I came out to California, and I was working still. I was still working. I always work. I ain't gonna never stop working. That's for sure. Cause I have to fend for my children. But like when I first get my money wasn't strong enough like it was before I left Texas. So when AOL Yahoo Messenger came out, man, I was on. I was getting all kind of Instagram, I mean not Instagram, AOL Messenger and all that stuff, MoneyGram. Men was sending me MoneyGram just to talk to me. I could be on the phone all day, and just give them a descriptive dream. And I was getting paid like that. Good money. Probably better than the money I'm making now.
Yep, that's true. It's just like OnlyFans now, you know. A lot of chicks ain't got jobs, but you know, they do what they gotta do. They got money coming in, so they like, well, I go to work for minimum wage when I'm making more money, you know what I'm saying, posting these pictures, snapping these videos. So, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, you know. I think it just boils down to a person's mentality. Some people want better for themselves, and some people just kind of settle for, you know, saying the life that they have. You know, some will, some won't. Some push that lifestyle on somebody else, and some people try to push up.
No, ain't
Uh,
nobody trying to push the lifestyle on nobody. But this is the thing. Okay, so that another
no,
thing.
I mean the people in it. You know, some people go tell the next person, "Hey, girl, you can do this. Why don't you do that? You go to this program and this. You working too hard." I mean, you know, some people it's
Work
getting
smarter,
up
not harder. Like, okay, so why would a person give up a free check, right? So they getting a free check, right? They get free food stamps, right? They get free housing, right? Why would a person give that up and they're making probably like a extra 30K a year? Why would they give up some free shit because you think that it's a bad idea?
you for those people, you correct. I mean, hey, I don't knock nobody. If you want to tell me, You know what I'm saying? Hey, money, it wasn't beautiful, but and I know just the people on the county who was actually real rich, you know. So,
Just
you know,
the biggest problem of the welfare system, and I'm about to end this live in a minute, but the biggest problem of the welfare system was the drugs. The drug, anybody that was on drugs and welfare, that was a problem. But guess what? Drugs is a multi-million-dollar industry. Do you know that all them crackheads in the 80s was spending multiple millions and billions of dollars? They were spending billions and millions of dollars just to get a hit. So had they not been brainwashed or confined by their addiction, they could have done something. It could have been different. You know what I mean? So, so a lot of people equate welfare and government assistance. Let me tell you, every single politician that you see is on welfare. They getting free checks. They getting millions a year. That's a welfare recipient. After a congressman retire, he's still getting millions of dollars a year. And they barely have any meetings and they barely do anything but write up bills. They write a bill that they think should happen and they put it in for the president. They do that probably once a year. That's the most cushy job in the world. Any senator or congressman that you see, that's a welfare check. I'm telling you, a welfare check. So welfare can go from zero to millions of dollars if you know how to work it right. Do y'all remember that white man that used to be on the infomercial that say government free money?
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about. Those particular things. Now you can get government free money, and I'm here to tell you. And I'm gonna end this live pretty soon. I'm here to tell you. I'm the type of person. My daddy told me I should charge 10% for telling people this information. I should charge 10% for each time I can get people help because I've helped a lot of people. I've helped a lot of people get government free money. And what started me on this journey when I was like 27, right before I had my last daughter, I was like 27. I was talking to my cousin. He worked for the LA County. We worked together for DCFS. We both no, I'm sorry. We worked together for Department of Mental Health. I used to help. He used to come to my office every time. And one time he came to my office, and I was telling him like, "Cuz why do you?" Because he used to catch the bus to work, but this nigga had a Lexus, and it was a one of those hybrids, and I'm like, "Cuz why you keep coming to work? You make all this money, da, 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 da. And like I just enjoyed the ride." And he said, "Hey, I don't care about the money because money is free." And when he told me money was free, that it was like an epiphany. It was like ding dong, money is free. And ever since then, I knew money was free. And money is free. They print that shit. They print it. White folks ain't thinking about no money. They print that every day. I'm here to tell you one more thing. Two more things. During COVID, everybody was getting those PPP loans. What they didn't know, they had grants for Black folks, specifically for Black folks. Tamika Mori was even talking about it, and what's the other girl name? I can't think of her name. She's another Black lady that's in politics. They were talking about it like we got all this money for Black folks. We rallied for it. We did all this, and we only have 15% of Black folks fill out these documents. They wouldn't fill out the documents for businesses for specifically for Black folks. And that's what I did this live for, because a lot of people that's Black, they don't read the fine print. They don't read, they just sign in their name, Just like that girl Glorilla, she signed her name to a contract. You just signing your name. You're not reading your rights. You're not reading the fine print. You're not understanding the legal terminology, and you're not reading the loophole. And then you guys listen to everybody. You listen to this propaganda that's put out to make you think. It, like Miyaka said, it's a mentality thing. If you're not in the right mental state to go research, understand what you're doing and what you're getting into, you're not going to know. Uh, Welfare and government assistance did not destroy the black community. The black community destroyed the black community.
And still are.
Like I said, it just was a stepping stone into a hole.
Okay, yeah. It's a stepping stone into a hole. No, it's a step. It's a. You just listen.
It's not the whole. I'm not saying it's the whole. It's not the whole that black people are in. It just was a little push into the hole.
It's a hole when you don't have the right mentality to work it. If you don't understand what's going on, and you're just going in it blindly, and you don't have a strategic plan, and you don't have no type of goals, then it becomes a hole because you're just sitting there and you don't know. You just twiddling your thumbs, waiting for the next check. And then the black men, and then because of our pride, because we're so prideful, even though 90%, almost 100% of black people have been on welfare, but it's another thing too. I wanted to show you, but I'm not going to show it because we already been on this live for an hour and 51 minutes. During the time of the 70s, 80s, 70% of black women wasn't on welfare because they were working. So if black, but they were still single mothers. So welfare did not destroy the black community. The fathers, I don't know what was in their mind. I don't know what.
Hello?
Just like I tell any immigrant that come over here, why are you coming over here? They say we got to corrupt government. We got this, we got that, we got this going on. But it's a lot of y'all. What is y'all thinking? It's a lot of y'all. Why y'all not building yourself up? Why you not building your own armies? Why you not training people with what you know? Do you know what? Because everybody want to be the chief. Nobody want to be the Indians, even though the chief is an Indian himself.
So you say the 60s, the 70s, and the 80s, correct?
Okay, I want to say the 70s to the 80s.
Okay, so this is the major thing that also contributed the shipment of factory jobs.
Do you know right now, I wish, because I used to have this shoe store that used to repair shoes. I wish there was a repair store in my neighborhood right now. If there was a repair shoe, like I have custom shoes, right? I have custom shoes that I create myself, I customize, right? If there was a repair store to repair straps and the soles of the shoes like they used to do, because there's just certain shoes you just don't want to let go, especially for women and men. If there was a shoe store like that, that person would be rich right now in LA. I'm saying that to say, oh no, one more thing. It's this dude, he a white dude, right? All he did was learn how to cut clothes. He learned how to cut clothes to the point where he charges thousands of dollars just to cut up a shirt. It's not, see, everybody want to have their hand in everything. They don't want to stay in their lane. But if you master anything, you could create your own job. God created us to be creators. So go ahead.
Yeah, certain individuals, I say this, majority but not all of people. Majority of the people, welfare and government assistance, how it affects the black community. Understand that not everybody who black is part of the black community. You have individuals who have the mind frame to use what they got and succeed in life.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. What
And
happened?
I was saying that not everybody, but it's a few people is not that is black, but not part of the black community, as they are individuals who took what they had and succeeded in life. And there's a lot of people who is okay with the bare minimum, as long as they have a roof over their head, food in their stomach. They really don't have to strive for a lot. And especially when you in a community where there's broken already.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there, Henry, because I want to end the live.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
do you have any closing? That's your closing thought.
My closing thoughts is educate yourself, financial education.
All right, Miyaka, any closing thoughts? No, right.
My phone is glitching a lot.
Okay, it's fine because I've been bouncing off of you. The mentality is the mentality, sis.
Yes, the mentality.
On everything. And once
Yeah.
we break that generational curse, then we can work. And I'm gonna go back over because I didn't get to show my receipts when I'm talking about what you can do to combat welfare assistance and government assistance, and I didn't get able to show you how to work the system. But anyways, I want to thank everybody that for joining me on this live. My sister, my brothers, and everybody. I love you guys, and we about to be out. Peace, love, and soul.
Show who you are. Good rigging. Is your kid in bit the forbidden? As it was written, you overbid it. With the heathens, karma is a bitch, so how you living? Pray for my enemies, unforgiving. Cast the pearls on hog moms and chitlin'. If it's too hot, get your ass out the kitchen. Finger licking good, good looking. Stewing in the stew, I'm cooking. You psyched out, paranoid and shookin'. Shook the table, fades I'm booking. Get prepared for this ass whooping. Listen to the words being spoken. You were talking, I'm awake and woken. While I'm spitting this, got your spit, got choking. Era up, a glance in my world, eyes shut open. Parallel in my mind, I'm chosen. Reverse the time, heart frozen. Antarctica, cold as ice. Casting locks, rolling dice. Mean as nails, I'm nothing nice. They persecuted me like they rejected Christ.